Yo, what's up? It's me, Tim Keys, and I just wanted to share this with you. And I'm pretty sure you've seen it from other folks, but I thought this was just worth like sharing with the NPC community. So apparently, this is coming from Akai on their Instagram website. They're saying, "Hey, we are going to, do some stuff with this product." Including MPC3 operating system for standalone. We will receive highly requested updates in the spring, including flexible time signatures, wireless expansion transfer. I don't even know what that means. Enhanced MIDI recording and playback, and addressing user reported challenges with external gear and additional new features that will further elevate the MPC3 OS experience. Pause. Now, for me, what I hope this means is that you will implement not only all of that other good stuff that you're talking about, but I hope you will also implement BST3 support within the DAW side itself. I hope we can do that in 2025 because MPC software on the computer is one of the last softwares I can think of that currently does not provide BST3 support, within the computer internal space. So hopefully they can do that. Let's see what else. MPC desktop software will enter public beta in May, giving users an early look at its powerful new capabilities. Pause again. I hope we can have the disk streaming side of things in the, in the computer version of the program, just like we do, with the standalone versions. OS 3.4.2 firmware update will be released later this month, delivering important fixes and optimizations to enhance standalone performance. That's a good thing. I have run into like one hiccup since I like updated my MPC to like the 3.4.2 version, where like it just got stuck in like a booting mode when I was trying to like change the sound and it just like wouldn't, boot up. I was kind of bummed out. Everything still works right now. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. Let's see. Force users can look forward to a major update entering the private beta this month, integrating NPC features into the platform. One of the highly requested enhancements from the community. We appreciate ongoing support, blah, 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 and feedback from our dedicated community and look forward to sharing even more excited updates soon. I know that's exciting and not excited. Anyhow, I have to say, like, because, I haven't spoken too much on this side of things, I've kind of kept quiet on the social media side when it comes to like the MPC stuff. To me, this makes sense. Like, you have to keep the software congruent with the hardware because that's kind of like what brought you to the dance. Like, remember when the live came out, the OG live, like, they took all the stuff, the momentum that they built with from the MPC Touch, like that whole semi-integrated deal. Same thing that they took from the Renaissance, and like you had the benefit of, having this device being a, plug into your computer to get that workflow space and kind of do the same thing, working in the computer, having the MPC feel. And then like when the live came out, the best part was like you had the best of both worlds. You could hook it up to your computer, get busy on your computer and do all your MPC recording, programming, getting your beats together from the computer, and then you can unplug it and go back to the standalone stuff that like we really appreciate the MPC product for. Like that standalone workflow. I hate saying standalone because it's so doggone cliche now, but y'all know what I mean. Like if I want to be hooked up to a computer, I can be hooked up to a computer. But like the main thing about the MPC that made it great was like I could just plug it into a wall and have my speakers or whatever, my headphones, and I could just get busy and get to work. Like that was the appealing thing. Buying the new unit, what made it nice was the integration with the software. Like I can work standalone, take my stuff with me and do whatever I need to do, but then I can also plug it into the computer and I can work with the computer And then when I get sick of working with the computer, I can unplug it and I can just work with it by itself. It was like the perfect hybrid experience. And for me, personally, as a user, that's what I wanted with the new units. I wanted like a comprehensive workflow based experience where if I want to work with the computer, I can. I can hook my machine up and I got the aforementioned software that goes with it, and I can record everything in the computer and do all the stuff I need to do. And then like when I want to unplug it and like work without the computer, I can do that. So I get like a total integrated experience. Like that flexibility for me is important. Now, that being said, I was one of the users that like I really like the update for version 3. I didn't think it was perfect by any means. I didn't jump on the beta. I waited until like they worked some things out before I said, yeah, let's use it and put it in my machine. Let's work out the kinks. Let's work out the crazy stuff first. But once they did that and they got it to a point where it's like it's ready for public release and we're no longer on beta, great. Like we can plug in, not plug in. We could put the software, the operating system in the machine, and you get all of the new features. So I like the idea of being able to do disk streaming. I like the fact that the new Native Instruments plugins go well with that machine. If you roll back to version like 2.10, 2.15, whatever it is, you cannot use those new virtual instruments inside the MPC. Now, you may not need those. Like, you may not be that type of person. And quite frankly, to be fair, in my opinion, this is just me out of like all the people on planet Earth. The new MPCs, the modern ones that we got right now, they got enough stuff in it as of like version 2.15, whatever, that you can do plenty within those machines. Like the plugins that come in my opinion, are great. The ability to manipulate samples, in my opinion, is pretty good. Like there's some things that, I wanted to see with the newer updates, but overall, like I'm not complaining. Especially being able to take like single cycle waveforms and put them in the sampler and stretch it across the keybed to make a multi-layered, not multi-layered, like an instrument and have it behave like a synthesizer. For me to be able to do that in a machine, that's really important because I make my own wavetables. I'll talk about that in another video. But like the flexibility that was in, version 2.5 software was great. And so like for some people, like if you want to stay on 2.5 and you want that workflow and that's all you need, like, hey, you can get a lot done with that. However, I love the fact that we upgraded and now we got more features and more power. I always appreciate more flexibility. And then just being able to like, I can load up to, I think it's like 7 different layers of samples now. I got more flexibility within the sampling engine. I got disk streaming. I have an updated, sequencer screen. That part doesn't mean as much to me, but like it's there. I will say as a caveat, I'm not a fan of the fact that like they cut off some of the time signatures on the screen. Like, when you go to change the time signature, they kind of, they took some stuff out on that end. But hopefully this, update that they just came out with addresses that issue. Overall, I can't complain. I'm glad I picked up the MPC Key 61 when I did. And I think for anybody that's like looking at these machines and are on the fence about getting one, I would say, in my opinion, I think these are some of the most versatile machines you can get, between like the different plugins that you can buy, the Jura, the Model D plugin. Do they sound exactly like hardware? No, but dare I say, most people are not going to be able to like tell the difference between a real Moog Model D and what's in the plugin for the MPC software, if they even if they had an actual Model D. That's the other side. Likewise, the Jura plugin, I think it's a great plugin. Is it going to sound exactly like the actual Juno plugin, not plugins, keyboards and synths that they're based off of? Um, they sound pretty close. I've played a Juno. Do I own one? No. Do I want to own one? No. I'm content with the plugins that I got, and being able to put like the Jura in the Key 61 and play with that and like have a tactile experience and put my finger on the screen and touch it. That may sound cheesy to you, but let me tell you, for somebody like me, I'm all for it. Like, and I'm not gonna sit up here and go down that road of like, well, you just get the real synth. Like, look, this is a very comprehensive unit. In my opinion, they're doing a good job with taking care of the customer base. Are there some things that they can improve on? Absolutely. But in terms of like what they're offering between just the different versions of the machines that you can get, and now, like this new update, and, pause because they haven't forgot about the Force users. They're going to implement a lot of the new features from the MPC software and put it into the Force. I think that's pretty great. Like for me, that was one of the other things that I kind of like drug my feet about was like, should I get the Force? Should I get the Live? And then when the keys came out, it's like, should I get the Force? Should I get the Live? Or should I get the keys? When the keys, not the keys, when the Force wasn't getting as much shine, then it was like, all right, let's get one of the Live units. So that's where I went. But, keep in mind, like the Force had a lot of the synths in it that, we use now beforehand. Like the Force had the hype synth in it built into it. It wasn't initially in the MPC Live or those modern units that came much later. And so, I think in terms of what we got going on now from Akai, what they're offering, you can't be mad. Now, I mean, you can always argue about like, I hate that argument. I shouldn't even bring it up, but I'm going to. Like, you always have some of the folks that are like, well, the older units sound better and this, that, and the third. And, I'm sure they do in some ways. Like, if we're talking about the 3000, but that's because the 3000 has like a preamp in the back of it that makes it sound good. Like, there's a built in preamp. So, of course, I would hope to think with that built in preamp in the back, it's going to sound better. That being said, I also understand and recognize that the MPC units in general tend to have a more transparent sound, and that's the reason they sound like that. And I kind of find it ironic that, at one point in time when, our hardware units had limitations based on the bit rate, like only being able to play in 8-bit or 12-bit, or then when it finally got to 16-bit, but it could only do like, 22,000 kilohertz, or not kilohertz, 22 kilohertz, 44 kilohertz, or in some cases 32 kilohertz, depending on the machine, which wasn't a bad thing, but it was something that we kind of always look forward to, like the day where we can have that 16-bit, 44 kilohertz, or 24-bit, 96 kilohertz, true to like what we're hearing or what's being generated in the machine. We get that output in real time. Like at one point, technologically, we waited for that to happen. Now we finally got it, and it's like, well, we kind of want to go back. And in my opinion, if that's the case, like, hey, we have a right to feel the way we feel, but just get one of the older units. Get a 2500, get a 1000, get a 2000, get a 2000 XL. Like, if you feel that strongly about it, get that machine. I know for me, I have a 1K in my bag somewhere right now, but I like my 1K. I will probably never get rid of my 1K. I may even go get a 2500. Might even go get a 2000. I don't know. But my point is, these companies are going in the direction that they're going in, and I appreciate that direction that they're going in. I understand the dissension among the community, but in my opinion, I like where they're headed. shout out to them for doing that. If I want an older workflow, I'll get the older thing that will give me that workflow. Because at some point, I also recognize that I'm going to get to the age where I'm not their primary target for their customer base. And these companies got to do what they need to do to make money and stay afloat. Anyhow, I'm off my rambling tip. Shout out to Akai for, doing the thing. And I don't even know. I'm like, sheesh, I might have to break down and look at getting a Force, because I ain't gonna front, like that Force had that Ableton-esque type workflow. And my understanding is it also had some integration with Ableton. So, it might be I pick up a Force now instead of getting like a Ableton Push 3, because I don't want to spend, $2,000 on a machine that, is pretty good in its own right, but there's some limitations missing in the sounds department, at least from my vantage point. Time stretch is killer though. I'll get on that another day. Anyhow, I'm getting off of here. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about all the stuff I just said. And if you're somebody that's like, yo, man, I'm good with, software operating system 2.15, and that's perfect the way it is. And I don't like version 3.0 because it's buns. Let me know that in the comment section. I will say, before I get off here, as they do this whole update, I hope they keep that feature where in the software side, you can upload your VSTs, and then let's say you don't want to keep the VST going because it takes up so much space. You can take the sounds from the VST and bounce it as a sample straight into the DAW and, straight into the MPC. As a key group, you can start that process too. You can kind of like rip the patches. That's really handy. I should show that as a video one day. I got to get on that. But I'm going to get up off of here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Tim Keys. I'm out. Peace.